Okay, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I tell you, we had some great racing today, didn't we? Did you see the greatest racing in the harness racing at the Meadowlands? I mean, it was unbelievable. Some great horses. We saw some great drivers, but we had some great ones back at Roosevelt, didn't we? We have them all: the Gilmores, the Howtons, the Fontaines, the Inscos. God, I could go on, and if I miss somebody, you know, I'm sorry. But I'll tell you, we raced at Yonkers and Roosevelt, we thought it would never end. And let me tell you a little story about Roosevelt. It started in 1940. George Morton Levy, who we were fortunate enough to have his daughter here tonight, and I wish you'd stand up and say hello, because she came all the way from California to be with us. And listen, and she's a beautiful lady. And George, how old was George when he passed away? 90? But anyway, George, he put us on the map. And George started 1940. He started with a group of guys, and they bought Mineola Fairgrounds. Mineola Fairgrounds, he turned it into Roosevelt Raceway. Roosevelt Raceway started racing they wanted to start in August, but they had some delays, and they finally started in September of 1940. And he had a rough start. Things weren't going good, and finally in 1946, we had the Steve Phillips Mobile starting gate. Put harness racing on the map. Racing under the stars, a beautiful Roosevelt Raceway, and that's put harness racing on the map with that starting gate. Around the 70s, he put a new grandstand in there, and we had the greatest racing, all the top trainers, all the top drivers. We had the international trot, and there were so many people, 50,000 people coming to see trotting at Roosevelt Raceway. We had first winner was Jamwa, he ate artichokes or something. And everybody started, what was the name of the horse? Jam On. Everybody started ordering artichokes for the horses. But anyway, that was in 1970 something. 79? 59, you sure? Okay. But anyway, and then he put the new grandstand in. Then George passed away, and was the greatest loss to harness racing. Roosevelt is gone, but not forgotten. And we're going to go on here, and we're going to have a few people tell a few memories of how they had some experiences, good and bad, at Roosevelt. These great guys, all right.
Only thing I remember was the hookers at the Island Inn.
God. I'll tell you, we were like family up there. We used to all get together, have a little barbecue on the weekends, and I mean, you know, it was a great thing, and you couldn't believe the people there, and we thought it would never end, but it's gone. Anybody have anything to say? Anybody? You're nobody. Come on. Here, oh my God. Here's the Canadian ace, Buddy Gilmore.
This guy is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, speak up.
It was a great era to be in the horse business, I'll tell you that. And when I first went to Roosevelt, I thought I had 4 or 5 nice horses. So I started 2. I finished last. One guy, I had a front runner could fly. I thought. I went to the first turn to Dodge and says, "You want to race him in front tonight, bud?" And I said, "I guess so." I went about half a mile, and they all went by me. I started the next one there. I loaded the other 2 or 3 up the next morning, and I said, "I'm out of here. I'll be back." It took me 4 times to really make it. I didn't know if I really made it. I had a pretty good go. It wasn't easy to start it. I was a young guy, and I didn't have enough power. But I made sure the next time I went, and then the next time I had an hour. And they put in the claimant races. Nobody put a horse in the claimant race. I used to put horses in $4,000 or $5,000 claimers. I knew, and I was 4 seconds of this. I knew nobody else was going to take them.
No wonder you were so good.
That's how I got my start. Big start at Roosevelt Raceway Reunion. I had a lot of great friends and drivers and owners and everything else. Thank God I was around at that era of the sport. So thank you very much, everybody.
That's great. Isn't it the great Buddy Gilmore, the Canadian ace? All right. Thank God. Thank you for coming, buddy. How about Abatello? How about Fontaine? How about everybody else? Come on. I don't want to miss anybody. Come on. Luke. How about that candy stripe convertible you had? Remember that? And Monticello? Oh my God. Here's Lucian.
Okay, hi everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And my first experience at Roosevelt was in 1957 with a brand new grandstand. And I came from Canada and went by Yonkers, and it took me longer from Yonkers to Roosevelt than it did from Montreal to Yonkers. I guess there was 5 different parkways, and I mean, they all looked the same to me. And I see finally a policeman, and he said, where you looking to go? And I said, to Roosevelt Raceway. He said, well, the lights are right over there. And I said, well, that's what everybody's been saying, and it's getting close to 11 o'clock. But anyway, I finally got there, and then I didn't move my car for 3 months. I was so afraid to get lost. And I worked for Clint Hodges, and the racing was at its best. I mean, when we had the international, when Germain won, they had a strike, the airline strikes, and they couldn't get any artichoke. Oh my God, I thought we were going to bring everybody from the French government to try to get artichoke. But it was great, and I learned under Clint Hodgins. And Clint Hodgins, they call him like Mr. Vinegar, I believe they had a story about him last year. And but Clint was a great teacher, great horseman. He had Bye Bye Bird and Elaine Rodney and a whole bunch of good horses. So and Adios Butler, he had him also, but as a 4-year-old, he had a conflict, so he had to drive Bye Bye Bird. But my first start at Roosevelt was after I came from the Meadowlands, and I drew the 8-hole with a mare by the name of Cormier of Hanover. And I said, I trained 24 2-year-olds. Clint had his 2-year-olds at Goshen. And I said, Clint, why don't you drive her tonight? I mean, we just trained 20-some horses. And he said, well, you better get your, you-know-what. He's over here and learn, he says, to get beat like everyone. So I get at Roosevelt, take a look at the program, and I said, Clint, I said, I'm the best in here. He said, you must have some fever or something. I mean, it's just incredible. But anyway, make a long story short, from the 8-hole, I made the 3/4 pole. She wins, pays $72. And so from there on, I come back and they're calling my name, paging my name, Lucien Fontaine. I thought it was the judges. I said, what the heck did I do? So Clint was by and he said, Lucy said, you don't have to go there. But he says, of course, if you want a big head, he says, go right ahead. So I said, no, Clint, all I want was him to be happy, because if you wanted something, you didn't ask him. If you asked him, you wouldn't get it. But anyway, he says, okay, go over and talk to him. Tell him you speak a very little bit of English and to go where. So they saw that audience must be around there. But anyway, some of the things that we learned from Roosevelt on the way to where we are today. The crowds, like today at the Meadowlands, that was an everyday occasion. And it was just incredible.
It was Hamiltonian every night.
Every night. The electricity, I mean, everything was just incredible. And I'll never forget it. And although it's gone, for sure, it will always be remembered by many of us that are here today. So thank you so much.
All right, a hand for the great connection, the French connection, Lucien Fontaine.